Posted by user Throwaway No College 01. Titled, Mum had an affair 18 years ago. I, 18 male, am the product of it. My dad just informed me of all of this and told me he will not pay for my college while my siblings got their college experience paid by our dad. Pretty much the title. I have no idea how to process all this, and I am completely unprepared for what lies ahead. Both my older brother and sister went to the same college. My brother graduated 2 years ago. My sister is set to graduate in 2 years. Both had their college paid by our dad. Dad paid all their college expenses, including rent, food, their cars, pocket money, you name it. My brother has a job now, his own place, lives together with his fiancée, and has his life together. My sister already has a good paying job, and my dad still pays for almost everything for her. I got accepted to the same college, which was always the plan, and was looking forward to talk to my parents about the next steps, and ask them to help me the same they did for my siblings. I always assumed they had money put aside for college the way they had for my siblings. Instead, I was met with a story about my mum's cheating, how I am the result of her cheating, and how my dad is not willing to support me anymore moving forward. Dad told me that Mum had 18 years to let me know and prepare me for the future, but obviously he never did. He said it was never his place to say anything since I am not his son, and didn't want to interfere with Mum's parenting. Apparently my grandparents know I am not Dad's biological son, but they haven't bothered to tell me anything either. My siblings had no idea, and they are as surprised as I am because there was never a hint of anything being off. I might be naive, but I always thought I had a great relationship with my dad. We go to see sports together. We go fishing together. He tutored me when I had difficulties with math. Dad is an engineer. He taught me to drive. I never got a hint he stores resentment towards me. I mean, he gave me my name and has explained what my name means, and he was very proud of it. It's a story he tells from time to time. He likes to talk about stuff like that about me. My mum has never said a word about anything, and apparently she was supposed to have the talk with me, but she never did. I feel abandoned and unprepared for what lies ahead. I am not even sure I will be able to go to college anymore. I always assumed my parents will pay for it. I never had a job, and I'm not sure what job I can even get to support me through college. I have no idea how to apply for loans. All my mum has done is cry and apologize, but nothing of substance. She has no idea how to help me. I don't even know if I'm welcomed home anymore. It's all up in the air. I feel shame leaving my room, and if I will be asked to move out, I don't know where to go. I don't have any savings, maybe $400 put together. I am angry at my mum. I am confused about where I stand with my dad. There's a man out there who is my father that never wanted to have anything to do with me. I feel rejected, and I have no idea what to do to fix this situation. Anyone have any idea what to do here? Do I apologize to my dad? What do I say to him? I don't know. I've been stuck in my room these past few days, reading and browsing Reddit. I have no idea what to do. Also, if he truly will not help, apply for emancipation. That way, you will qualify for grants and financial aid. And also, explain your situation to the college and university. I ran away from home when I was 16 because it was either run away or get beaten to death. I explained my situation to the university I applied to, and they helped me out. My tuition was covered by financial aid and grants, and I worked while going to school to cover living expenses. I was able to graduate debt-free. Talk to them. They might be able to help. Also not sure if other areas are like this, but in California, you can go to community college with a guaranteed transfer to a university after 2 years. Community college is dirt cheap, and in-state schooling is definitely manageable with a part-time job and the basic financial aid and loans. And when you apply for a job, they won't even have to know you went through that route. You can just say you graduated from X university. I had a friend with something similar. Due to a divorce, parents didn't have college money. He graduated in 6 years with this route due to part-time school and work, but now makes decent money in IT. Just out of curiosity, did they ever get a genetic test? Do they know 100% that he's not your father? I don't know, but Dad seemed pretty sure of it, and by how my mum reacted and reacts right now, I suppose they know it to be true for sure. I would push for a test anyway, to be honest. Seriously, get that DNA test. If your parents won't help you with doing their own, ask your siblings. The devastation will be reinforced substantially if the original theory gets proven, but yep, sounds like the safe option. If the test proves they were related all along, if anything, it works out even worse. Mother's secret is out, father was willing to disown the son at the drop of a hat. No happy families after this one, either way. At least if it was an affair, there was some meaning to the fallout. You need to give your siblings a call and tell us what they said. I only talked with them about me not being Dad's natural son. They don't know about the college thing yet. They are each out of town for a few more days. We'll talk with them when they come back. Definitely tell them the whole story, and don't be afraid to ask them for help in getting it set up as an independent adult. Hopefully they will be your biggest support in all of this. And frankly, help to guilt OP's parents into not being crap stains. Absolutely this. If I was the older brother and completely out on my own upon hearing this story, I'd go no contact with the dad for the rest of my life as long as he's stuck with it. I'd disinvite him from my wedding. I'd tell him he will never meet his grandkids. I'd tell him that the type of person who waits 18 years to stick it to my mum over something and chooses to pull the rug out from under my brother in the process is not someone I want to know anymore. The two siblings are the most important chess pieces here, and they need to go on a shame offensive. Update. Sorry to disappear, nothing bad happened to me. Managed to talk with my mum yesterday, but I chickened out halfway through what I had to say. The good news is that I'm not being kicked out or disowned, etc. Thank you for all your support, everyone. I will follow through and call financial aid at my college in a few hours and take it from there. My grandpa had a stroke a week ago, and my dad is helping my grandma with setting up a live-in nurse, so he wasn't around yesterday. I will let you know how I manage. Thank you again. Update 2. Sorry for not updating. My grandpa passed away yesterday morning. Nothing happened to me, but my situation is a secondary concern right now. Regardless, I think I will be alright. Thanks to your amazing support and help. My sister is aware of everything and told me not to worry. She has my back and I have her support. I promise to update when and if there are any significant changes. Right now, I need to support my grandma. Thank you again to everyone. Update. The reaction to my original post put an uncomfortable amount of pressure on me to write this update. I am not sure if it's what you want to hear, but things are more or less back to a normal state if you consider other events. Unfortunately, my grandpa died at the beginning of this week, and I am still processing it. I did manage to talk with both my mum and dad, and I know where I now stand in relation with them as well as my siblings. I am not sure I would have had the courage to say what I had to say if not for the amount of help and advice in the comments. I think it is safe to say both my parents love me, and what happened 2 weeks ago was an overreaction to a fight between my parents. It makes me uncomfortable knowing I am not aware of my own environment, but a stranger in the comments can tell me what's happening in my life with only a few lines of texts from my side. A lot of comments were spot on about what is happening in my life. I have so far went through 40%, I estimate, of the comments, but I have given up. There are too many for me to keep up with. The conclusion is that I am definitely going to college. It will be the college I have always wanted to go to, and I will have the same experience as my siblings. The money to pay for all of this already exists. My family is not going bankrupt as suggested. My dad just had a mental breakup with all these issues around my grandpa and his fight with my mum. Even if my dad would have went through with his decision, my grandma let me know my grandpa left me and my siblings a sum we will have to split between the three of us, but enough to put through college. What started the entire scandal was poor timing on my part. My parents just had a fight, and then I showed up saying, hey, pay for my college. My parents were talking about us, their children, and Mum said something to the lines of, to think you wanted to split up when I came back pregnant, or something like that. I was not there, this is what she told me. I guess Dad was talking about how proud he was of his children, and Mum wanted to express her gratitude for Dad raising me as his own. And Dad took it as, the affair was the best decision I ever made, or something like that. And their fight escalated from there. And Mum told Dad something like, what makes you think any of them are yours? Yeah, it went downhill from there fast. Shortly after that, my dumb face showed up and here I am. Dad and Mum have since made up. Mum is still a mess. Dad is not handling my grandpa's passing away too well either. I did talk with my siblings, and my sister raised a storm and wrote it here while blasting my parents on the phone. My brother was calmer, but made his feelings known in no uncertain terms as well once he got back home. My grandpa passing away sort of kept spirits calm, I guess, and shifted the focus to dealing with that. Reading the comments was a mind-opening experience. I felt unprepared for the world out there. Many have asked how I had no idea how to apply for loans or grants. Well, in my defense, when you go year after year after year, knowing you have nothing to worry about, that your college is as good as paid for already, you don't really have to worry about anything else. Of course, I knew there were loans and other things students have to be aware of, but it didn't apply to me. I went from, I'm going to college, can't wait, to, you're not my son and I will not pay for your college, in less than 24 hours. Others have been prepared for this. At the very least, they knew they had to get a loan or get a job, look for a place to live, and so on. For me, it was a sudden change in reality. Going through the comments, I managed to put a list together with various tips and tricks. What jobs are available for students, how to find a place to live, how to get a credit card, a bank account, a cell phone plan, and so on. Really good stuff that I think, even after the return to normal, will help me. My parents have been called more names than they go by, and that was uncomfortable to read, and I haven't even read all the comments. I can't even imagine what else lies in the comments. Waiting. Dad is very sorry, apologetic, about his reaction and behavior. I understand his reaction, but I still feel hurt by it. I understand he was not in the best place of mind, but I can't control my feelings either. We will be alright, and this hasn't irreparably damaged our relationship. Mum hasn't handled everything that well, but she is coming around, and she answered some more questions for me. When Mum had an affair years ago and got pregnant with me, my parents started divorce. Mum moved in with the man she had the affair with, but after a few months, that guy decided he wanted nothing to do with it. He kicked Mum out and she had nowhere to go. So my grandparents took her in because she was still the mother of their grandkids. I'm getting a lot of heat for this mistake, but I know in my family's culture, grandparents call their grandkids nephews as well. Mum and Dad got back together. After a lot of work, Dad took me as his own. And that's my life since then. The man who is my natural father is not in the picture anymore. Dad didn't really know who he is, and Mum hasn't heard or seen him ever since. He was fully aware my mum was pregnant with his child. I guess he had more important things to do. But it doesn't sound like he was able to cure world hunger. She met him in a bar, not at a fundraiser. And I don't feel a need to know any more about who he is. I thought about the matter the last 2 weeks, since I've been aware of everything, and haven't really felt a desire to know who he is, where he is, if he is still alive, and if I have other siblings out there. I was suggested to go buy a DNA kit from 23andMe, maybe I can find him that way. but I think I will avoid doing this specifically so I don't find him or he finds me. As far as I care, I have a mum and a dad and a brother and a sister, and that's my family. Moving forward, I do plan on getting a job and becoming more independent, but not in an attempt to distance myself from my family, but to feel like I would not be lost in the world if my family suddenly disappears. My mum admits I've been babied way more than my siblings, and that they should have prepared me more for what's coming next. I did learn where I stand with my family, and it's safe to say that I am loved and I have options. I thought I am isolated, but my world is wider than I thought. Grandparents, siblings, my aunt, my cousins, all have my back. I think my parents are human, and they make mistakes, and even though that was not their greatest moment, I think I will look at everything as nothing more than a weak moment in an otherwise wonderful relationship. Thank you. Sorry about your grandpa, but I'm relieved it ended on a good note. It looks like you've already sorted out how you are going to deal with this from here. Thanks for the update, and good luck. Yeah, he definitely made a good choice to not distance himself from family and to become more independent. Despite the small blemishes, they have treated him well. Sometimes your real father, to you, is not your real father. I just want to say, my sister raised a storm and rode it here is an amazing turn of phrase. That and my parents have been called more names than they go by were my two favorite expressions in this post. Those are really great turns of phrase. I'm really happy things have worked out for you. I think the reason so many people knew what was going on with your parents is because so many commenters are older and have more life experience. It's not that you had no idea what was going on in your home. People behave pretty predictably, and so your dad's actions were less of a mystery to other Redditors. In 15 years, you'll have the same benefit of experience. You already have more than you did a month ago. This is very, very, very true. I will also add it's pretty much always easier to have more clarity of vision from the outside looking in than from within the situation itself. Don't get too down on yourself for that, OP. Another way to look at what happened is wow, you got to learn about a bunch of new life skills and such without the added stress and burden of having to truly figure them all out right now on your own. That's a nice upside. OP, glad to hear this worked out. Sometimes people say mean things on Reddit, but at the end of the day, lots of people are just trying to get through life the best they can. Posted by user An Orange Horse. Titled, My friend is about to ask his girlfriend to marry her, and I'm the only one who knows how unfaithful she is. Do I say anything? So I'm not sure if this belongs in this sub because it isn't my relationship I'm asking for advice about. If not, apologies. So, my good friend Aaron and his girlfriend Mary have been together for almost 7 years. They met in college and are in a very close relationship. Personally, I would call them extremely codependent. Neither of them really have any friends aside from each other. She doesn't let him have guy friends. In fact, she doesn't let him do a lot of things. He's not allowed to go out past 11. Not allowed to drink or smoke, she has to approve all of his friends, and he's not allowed to be alone with other girls. She's got this guy on a tight leash. The reason why they're still together is that Aaron is completely whipped, and to him, she can do no wrong. He talks regularly about how amazed he is that she still finds him attractive. He's a decent-looking guy, but she's like supermodel level good looking. They post cutesy couple photos every day. I'm pretty sure she makes him post them, and to everyone who sees them, they appear to be the perfect magical fairy tale couple. Anyway, a few weeks ago, he told my boyfriend and I that he was planning on proposing to Mary. Of course, we congratulated him because he seemed super excited. Now, here is the issue. A few weeks prior to this, I hung out with a friend of Mary called Allison. Allison told me about a party they went to where Mary got drunk and slept with her ex. After the party, they began hooking up regularly, and she had a threesome with him and a friend of his. Aaron has no knowledge of these hookups. I told my boyfriend about it because he shares my friendship with both of them, and he believes that we need to say something, but I'm not so sure how to even go about that. It will destroy him, ruin their entire relationship, and maybe a friendship as well. However, I think in the long term he will be unhappy with a marriage where she is so controlling. Not even that, but if she is completely okay with cheating on her long-term partner, it will be the same once they are married. Is telling him the right thing to do? Edit. To clarify, the cheating has not been going on for 6 years, as far as I'm aware, and the hookups occurred recently. Edit 2. Some of the commenters are calling me a bad friend for not telling him immediately. After giving it some thought and reading the comments, I have decided to tell him as soon as I can. Most likely, tonight if he's free to hang out. To those saying I'm being a bad friend for waiting, this is a huge deal, and it will greatly affect the future of Aaron, and I want to make sure that I break the news in the correct way. This man is blinded by love. He's not going to be expecting this news at all, and his whole life is about to change. I'm definitely not going to do nothing, because he deserves much better than this woman, and he deserves to know the truth about what he's getting into if she still decides to marry her. I'm expecting a full-blown crap storm. I'm expecting him to be hurt, angry, in disbelief. I don't believe it's wrong that I'm asking for a bit of advice on how to approach this. Should I have told him sooner? Maybe. But what difference would a few weeks make? For all those asking, I'll post an update when I do it. Edit 3. I've talked to Aaron since I'd posted this, and he's coming over tonight to talk and hang out. My boyfriend and I are going to tell him together because he knows the situation as well. A few of you have suggested I talk to Mary first to give her a chance to come clean. While that is a good idea, I'm not as close to her as I am to Aaron, and I don't see that going over well. I would much rather tell him and leave it to him to decide what to do from there. And Edit 4. New information has been received from the third-party friend Allison. She has sent me screenshots of texts that do prove Mary has been involved with her ex. They send messages regularly, and he has sent her nudes. Edit 5. Lamau? I'll just mention that Aaron just got to our house, 8 PM EST. Will update later if I can. Thank you all so much for the kind messages and helping me work through this hot mess out. I have been stressing about this all day, but I believe I am doing the right thing in telling him. Edit 6. Quick little edits, 11 o'clock EST. We all talked for a good bit. I told him what I heard from Allison, and it went better than expected, but he was still pretty mad and upset. We are all just chilling and drinking now. I'll post the whole story tomorrow. Thanks again for all the replies. Update. So I got lots of feedback on what to do here. A good majority of the commenters told me to say something. To clarify, it may not have been clear in the OP, but I was never planning on doing nothing. Of course, you gotta tell your bro if they're being cheated on. I was just not sure how to approach the situation. Some of the commenters gave me some very helpful advice. Some of you told me to talk to the girlfriend first, some of you told me to wait, some told me to gather a bunch of evidence first, which I ended up getting from Allison, the third-party friend. Some of you guys got angry with me for not telling him sooner, told me I was a bad friend. Some were sure he wouldn't believe me. Some predicted the girlfriend would deny it all. Well, all of you were somehow right. Here is how it went down. I messaged Allison early on in the day, shortly after I made the post, because typing it all out brought my guilt and apprehension from the situation to the surface. I said to Allison that I needed to tell Aaron, and asked whether or not she had proof. This is when she sent me the screenshots of the text messages. Aaron came over at around 8, and what was great was that Allison came over too. We all sat down and talked for a bit, and we all told him our suspicions about Mary. Allison showed him the text screenshots of Mary talking to her ex, and also told Aaron all the stories she had shared about her sexual encounters. What was the most surprising was his reaction. He took it very well. He first got very quiet and just nodded. Aaron ended up telling us that he had a sneaking suspicion that something was going on. He was not aware of the hookups, but he and Mary had gotten into fights before over the fact that she doesn't allow him near any other girls, but she goes out and flirts with guys all the time. He told us that she had been distant lately and would leave rather often without telling him where she was going. There were a few other small things he mentioned that told us he was just generally unhappy with his relationship. He knew in his gut something was wrong, but wanted to believe it wasn't true. We started unwinding with some alcohol after that, and it all got way more emotional. He cried, talking about how he felt stupid for not seeing it sooner, how he really loved her and would have given her anything. Then he got angry. At her, and even more so at the guy. Some unpleasant and derogatory terms were used to describe her. Ultimately, he told us that he's going to be breaking it off at least for now. We told him a million times how much better he deserved. He is definitely not going to marry her. Thanks again for all the supportive words and advice. We saved a good man from heartbreak. You did well, OP. Hopefully Mary doesn't try to manipulate him or convince him to stay. People like Mary have a knack for that. Keep by his side and make sure he has people to stand up to her with him. The more help he can get through this. Also, try and have him break things off over text or in public. Mary seems like the type to react very badly. Agreed here. I was in a manipulative relationship where the girlfriend took advantage of my inexperience and steady paycheck to feed her validation. Thankfully, my tolerance meter is quite low as it is, so this only lasted 3 months. However, the psychological damage was already done, and it took me years to fully come to terms with this situation. The part that I am still not able to shake off is how there were plenty of friends around me at the time who just let me stay in that disaster relationship without ever once stepping in to tell me to wake up. I am forever grateful to the real friends who did exactly that, 2 of whom were groomsmen at my wedding. Here for great friends who really care about their own. Alright, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it. As always, I want to do a huge shout out to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers. You should be up on the screen now. I love you all, and I think every single one of you are amazing for supporting the channel in the way that you do. Again, thank you so much for supporting me. And again, if you did enjoy today's video, please do tell me what you thought of it down in the comments below. All of your hot takes, opinions, whatever you think, really, whatever's going on in your life right now, I'd love to hear down in the comments below. Before I leave, I'd also like to announce that I'm going to start doing meme content again on the second channel. I know it's been a while, so click on the Markee head on the screen without the Australian flag behind him if you want to go see some memes. And as always, guys, have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.